This Ag Pro 300 2025 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credit.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. I know a lot of you guys were reaching for your downloads yesterday and we're like, what the hell happened? Well, I'll tell you. We did get a cup episode out on Monday, which was very exciting, right? We were able to get it out a little early for you, but then crickets, and we had to wait for the Xfinity Series to catch up, Cody.
Yeah, they just Xfinity Series doesn't get as much love, and that's unfortunate, but we're here to love the Xfinity Series and plan on doing plenty of that today.
Yeah, we do not discriminate against series, folks. If it's sanctioned by NASCAR, and sometimes if it's not even sanctioned by NASCAR, we still enjoy speaking about it. So yes, the books have finally caught up. Now we have Xfinity odds for the Talladega race coming up this weekend. It's the Ag Pro 300. So we're excited to be able to bring you that this day. And then of course tomorrow we'll wrap up the week with our normal DFS, and hopefully Underdog will catch up at that point as well. Ash checking in really quickly. Evening, lads, because of course he is across the sea. Recap from last weekend. Great pick for with Garcia, Rod. Yes, thank you very much. Also with Ankrum winning, I'm still not convinced with him and don't think he will be in contention for the championship. And you know what? That's fine. All we needed him to do was actually win last week, and he did. So a great race altogether last week and a great outcome.
Yeah, gonna have to agree on Nash. I'm also not convinced, but yeah, props to him for picking up the win.
Indeed. JDK checking in. Afternoon, fellas. Afternoon JDK. Cody, there's been some stuff happening today, to say the least. Yeah. Cody, what's been going on?
But I mean, we've only not had a show for one day, but there's been a lot of news in the last couple of days. Just came out that the RCR appeal has failed. So the Jesse Love win is voided. And of course, Sammy Smith gets the win, gets to keep the win. So congratulations to Sammy Smith and the 8 team. They get that win from Rockingham. The big news today, really shocking news. Rodney Childers, the hottest crew chief on the free agency market last year, makes the shocker. He goes to Spire. Whoa, they must be building something over there. We're 8, 9, not even 10 races into the season. They've already parted ways. This is interesting. You know, we've kind of we saw Rick Ware go out a couple years ago. Justin Haley, this is our guy. We're signing him long-term. Like, we're making all these big investments. Justin Haley then gets traded mid-season because he's basically says he's not coming back to the team. Now they've sold a charter that they didn't mean to sell, that they wanted to sell. Again, anyways, whatever. But Spire, all this big investment, they got Rodney Childers, the hottest guy in the, and then we don't even make it a third of the way into the season, and he's gone already. Very interesting, very weird. And then not to mention, Rodney Childers now on the market, and every single team in the garage should be scrambling to go and get him and make him a part of their organization.
So then who gets him? I mean, like, if anybody needs a shift mid-season, or not even mid-season, third of the way through the season, who gets him? I mean, everybody's pretty much solidified right now. And yeah, this is a huge shocker because there was such a huge push to get him at the end of last season. This okay. So this I say I watch a lot of UFL, right? The United Football League, and we've seen coaches come and go through that already because of frustrations and it just not being able to. Is this what we're up to now? Is this what we're going to be seeing in NASCAR?
Yeah, I don't know. Jordan Bianchi has a story out. I don't have the access to the Athletic yet to pay for it. I haven't read the story. I don't know what the details are on, if there is any details on why he left or why they parted ways. Just seems really odd. Like, he was the big fish. He commits to go there. They've got this big grand plan, and then you're hardly into the season and you already give up on it, which is interesting. So you're obviously not going to probably just pluck him and put him on a big team as the crew chief right now. Smaller teams, I'm sure, would be, fuck, sorry, dude, you're fired. Like, we're bringing this guy in, right? But this is where you probably see him go to a Hendrick as some type of advisor role, or a Gibbs as an advisor. And then once they're deciding on one of their crew chiefs, like, you kind of slide him in next year, or late in the season, you make that crew chief change if things aren't seeming to work with somebody. But I would imagine that every team would want to go and get him in some capacity. He is a great mind, one of the best crew chiefs in the garage. So yeah, it's very interesting. And is he looking for work, or is he just going to step away? Who knows? I don't know the whole story there, but very interesting moves for sure.
Ty Gibbs needs a new crew chief just to make him better than he always is. We implore you. The NFL draft is on its way. Tune in to the SGPN NFL Draft Show live watch party for the entire round 1 of the NFL draft, featuring all your favorite hosts and fans from the SGPN. You can tune in Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. That's youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. Yep, those shiny faces. Oh my God! And now Cody out with the necklace.
I got the draft chain ready for Thursday's show, Rod. That's right.
You're gonna be disappointed when they draft nobody.
Actually, I sort of hope they do draft nobody and trade back. But
hey, listen, I'm hoping the Niners.
If Carter and Hunter are off the board, I'd love to see them trade back. I've seen some rumors about maybe trading with Justin's team, the Bears, and letting them come up and get GT at 4. That would be interesting, to trade up to 4 to get a running back. But yeah, we'll see. It feels like football Christmas tomorrow, Rod. It's very exciting. I'm pumped, and join us on that live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've, throughout the organization, we're all fans of different teams. And so we each get to jump in and give our opinion on our team. So you're getting, raw, like, we're going to be there as fans, basically, and how we react, disappointment or excitement or what the fuck or whatever. It's going to be great.
Yep, I love it that we get to actually show our colors at this point. So Laura saying, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Laura. And right behind Jessica, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, Jessica. All right, but we are excited because it is Talladega Christmas. Wait, there's a couple more stories, right, that we got to get to?
Well, the one other big one that I wanted to make sure we touched on was the change of the championship race. So that is going to Homestead next year, which we're very much for. And they said that's a 1-year deal. They're going to start rotating it. So we got everything we asked for, essentially. Go to Homestead for the championship race once again, which is why we knew that race was so early this year, because that was the plan, right? And it looked like they were going to announce it that week, and then that kind of fell through. But now it's done. It's signed and sealed, and they're good to go for that. And then you would assume Las Vegas in 27, whatever else, going to kind of rotate through there. So you've got somebody different every year, and you think, oh, Homestead, pencil Kyle Larson in for the championship. Like, that's what we said for Kevin Harvick when it went to Phoenix, and he never won a championship at Phoenix. His one came back at Homestead back in the day. So it's definitely not just penciling in Larson. Him and Reddick are going to have definite advantages. They're really good there. But we could see that certainly go other ways, and you got to get there to win it too, is also part of it.
Yeah, if it goes to Vegas, oh my God, I cannot. I will definitely be there with bells on, and yeah, I will make sure that I block out my entire schedule for that to be able to watch that championship race. So
yeah,
lot of fun. All right, but that is in the future, and obviously in the future is Talladega for us as well. It's the Xfinity Series taking on this big monstrous beast for the Ag Pro 300 113 laps around this 2.660 mile paved track for 300.580 miles of drafting, of tempers, of crashes, of all kinds of crazy stuff. Cody, this is going to be no trucks this weekend, unfortunately, but yeah, definitely Xfinity and Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very excited. We talked about it Monday, I guess. I was going to say yesterday. We talked about it Monday on the Cup Series show, right? There was a 28-car accident in the Cup Series race at Talladega last year. That's the type of craziness that can happen in this race. That's what makes it fun and frustrating to bet on both sides. So, a lot of people take this week off. I don't bet on super speedways. If that's your deal, fine. But we like to have fun, and you just kind of got to approach this one differently. Like we always say, go into this one kind of expecting to lose all these. You have a lot of fun, a lot of long shots, stuff kind of sprinkled all over the place. A couple of shotgun blasts out there, right? Trying to hit something. You hit some stuff. You have a lot of fun. And it really is exciting. And I think, I don't know if I like it so much because there is almost no pressure. Like on a last week at Rockingham or at Bristol, you got a lot riding on it. And if things are going your way, it makes it pretty tough, right? But at Talladega, it's like, hey, if I win it, I win it. If I don't, I kind of expected to lose it anyways. So it makes it fun, I guess, for betting wise.
Well, and really too, if this is one of your first episodes that you're tuning into, if this is your first season tuning into it, and Daytona and Atlanta were kind of your first experiences with super speedway betting, just understand that when we tell you that anything can happen, we mean anything can happen on these tracks. I mean, we're going to see it string out a little bit. They kind of catch their breaths, and maybe they'll be single file for a while, but then somebody will peek out and we'll go 2 wide, then we'll go 3 wide. And all it takes from anywhere in the field is for one person to get squirrely. We've seen it from the front. We've seen it from the middle. We've seen it from the back. We've seen it take out, like you said, 28 cars. And so you have to understand that in pack racing, your philosophy when it comes to betting is we need to take the guys that we want to cheer for. We want to there is some guys that really are good and that they continually have great finishes. But by and large, if you want to take a long shot, this is the track to take a long shot, because as we'll talk about with some of these drivers, especially coming up, we've got some long shots, and we've got some guys that we're going to be talking about that we probably won't talk about again for a very long time until the next super speedway race.
Yeah, we've dug deep this week, Rod. There are some names that you've never heard on a betting episode before. Maybe occasionally DFS here and there, which we don't really talk much Xfinity anymore. But we definitely dug deep this week, and there's a good reason for it. I will say Xfinity tends to be the least chaotic of them. You generally get, Austin Hill's won a ton of these. That's why he's such a heavy favorite. Love has looked really good. He's also a pretty heavy favorite. You tend to get less of the upset winners in Xfinity, but we've still seen plenty of them. And especially, the top 10s and stuff. And it just, especially if it devolves to, we're going to overtime. 1 overtime then leads to 4 overtimes. Somebody who is just 5 laps down is suddenly in 3rd place. Like it gets that crazy that fast. And then, back to the Daytona 500 example. William Byron, 7th, 8th place, last lap, wins the Daytona 500. If you can put yourself close to where you need to cash the bet, you're going to have a shot on the last lap.
And it really is all about catching the line with the momentum. And it doesn't matter where you are in the pack. If you're the right person to jump up in front of the right line at the right time, it could carry you all the way to the top. So we've seen guys, like you said, charge from 10th, charge from 12th, and get to the front by the end of the race. So yeah, we're definitely, when we call these drivers that you never heard of before, don't think that we've lost our minds. You don't have to call any kind of protection services to come get us, because we're fine. We fully understand what we're saying. We're cognitive and we're ready to rock. So
that's right.
Ash saying ARCA series at Talladega, Bovida has odds. Woof.
Ooh, what's up? I know Cletus McFarland is going to be in that race once again, so that's exciting.
Love that. And then Dos Flacco saying stuck in traffic like Casey Kane. Cheers, boys.
R.I.P. Casey. Hopefully we'll get another Casey King sighting soon. All right, Rod, we've got 41 entries for 38 spots this week at Talladega. That means, listen closely here, please. That means the 3 drivers are going home after qualifying. We are about to give you some back marker guys that are long shot odds for things. These drivers might not make the race. I know it sounds funny to say that they might not make the race, and then we're going to make an argument for why you bet on them. If they make the race, once they're in the race, they're going to be fine. They will have a shot at getting it done, but having the speed in a fast enough car to make the race can be an issue sometimes. So on these longer shots, it's probably advisable to just wait until after qualifying to bet them. Odds don't really change too much on super speedways. And or check your book, make sure that if they don't make the race, it's no action, because some books, even if they don't make the race, they're going to count it as a loss. So there is your forewarning on that. 41 entries for 38 spots. Eric Almirola back in the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Jeffrey Earnhardt, the grandson of the great late Dale Earnhardt, he is back in the number 24 for Sam Hunt Racing. Good old Earnhardt in a Toyota. In the number 29 car is Jake Garcia. You might know him, of course, from the Truck Series. Stepping up into, that's an RSS, Ryan Sieg racing car there. Catherine Legg is going to be back in the number 32 car. Cesar Baccarella is in the 45. Number 66 is Mason Maggio. Leland Honeyman is going to be in the 70. Austin Green's back in the 81. And the Navy officer himself, Jesse Owuji, returns to the number 91 car for DGM Racing.
Again, a lot of names that you don't necessarily hear all the time. However, they're in play should they make the race. And we'll talk about some of these guys as we set up our bets when we come back. But first, I would like to tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards and 100% approval. I can't stress this enough. 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. Deposit $25. EdgeBoost is going to match that deposit, and make sure you let them know that SGPN sent you. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Let's talk about mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport that you can even imagine, and some that you probably couldn't have imagined, including the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft, plus props for every single game. And for the true DGens, the MyBookie money bag is out there. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. And hey, you could probably even use your Edge Boost card over there. In fact, I'm sure you can use that. All right. I love to call out some of the most wildest things that you've ever heard in your life. How about Call of Duty League? That is correct. Call of Duty League is out there. They're taking place this Thursday. Look, this is tough, but I'm going to take the Boston Breach over Optic Texas at plus 117. That's about the best line that I can find out there. Or I suppose if you really want to, you can take the Los Angeles Thieves plus 1.5 over the Carolina Royal Ravens. Look, I think that they're going to actually maybe sweep the Ravens. So if you take plus 1.5 and plus 450, yes, please. Los Angeles Thieves are first right now in the standings, taking on the Carolina Royal Ravens, who have only got 2 wins in the qualifiers. Take advantage of that right now. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Los Angeles Thieves, baby. Take that to the bank. All right. Speaking of taking stuff to the bank, let's take some picks from this Ag Pro 300 to the bank.
Is that how we want to set up talking about Garrett Smithley, Rod, taking it to the bank?
Well, I mean, Los Angeles Thieves, we could be stealing one here. I don't know.
Hey, I think we might be stealing one. So that's right. You heard me correctly. Garrett Smithley, going to take him top 10. So at this time, as we record, the only place with top 10s is Caesars. You might only be able to access the top 10s on the desktop because I could not find them on the mobile version. Rod found them on the desktop version. So I don't know, whatever. And so Bet365 usually has better numbers. ESPN usually has better numbers when they come out, but we've yet to see them. So rolling with what we got. But Garrett Smithley, top 10, 12-1. Smithley this week, I was trying to find what car he is going to be in, and that car is, Jesus, what car is he? He's in the 14 SS Greenlight car, which is good. That's where we want him at. Garrett Smithley, actually, it's funny, we brought him up last week on the DFS Xfinity episode when we had that while the Cup Series was off, because he really is kind of just a solid driver. And on a week-to-week basis, you can rely on him to get you solid fantasy points. And in this case, you can rely on him to get you good finishes. In the Xfinity Series, now, I will say, he tried to make the Talladega race last year. He did not make the race. So he could definitely be one of the guys in jeopardy of not even making the race. But if he does make the race, he's got 7 career starts here at Talladega. They've all been in not good cars. JD Motorsports has been 5 of them. SS Greenlight's been 2 of them. Never really good cars, but he's 7 for 7, finishing 21st or better. He's been running at the end of every single race, which really, at 12-1 for a top 10, that's what I want. Be running at the end of the race, because if you're running and we're 3, 4, 6 overtimes deep into this thing, you're going to have a shot. It might not even take that, but you're definitely going to have a shot if you're still running at that point. 16th place here in 23, had a 19th in 21, 8th place in 2020. He has finished in the top 10 in the Xfinity Series in an SS Greenlight racing car before. Why couldn't he do it again? 12th place here in 2019, 2 spots out of the top 10. 10th place here in 2018. That is a top 10. A horrible 21st place finish in 2017, and then 12th in his first career start here. Garrett Smithley has been a solid super speedway racer. If you go over to look at Daytona, similar things. Earlier this season, he had an electrical issue, which is going to happen in those SS Greenlight cars at times, right? Finished in 31st, but his finishes before that, 16th, 16th, 14th. He had a 5th place finish in 2018. He had an 8th place finish in 2017. He is a solid super speedway guy, a guy that you can rely on to get you a top 10 finish at 12-1 odds when, much like the Cup Series, and we talked about this yesterday, the top of the board is cooked. It's baked hard. Like you're not getting very good value at the top of the board. A lot of guys aren't even bettable. So you go all the way down to the bottom here and you find these veteran guys who've been around a long time. He's raced on this style of track time and time again. It gets pretty good results. I like that for a top 10. And then I'm also going to take Joey Gase. It's the same exact story with Joey Gase. At 10-1 or 12-1 once again for him as well. He's going to be in that 53 Gase Motorsports car. Another case of, he owns the car. He knows what he's doing. He helps work on these cars. 21st place here in the fall, 18th here last spring, 9th place just 2 years ago in the number 35 for Joey Gase Motorsports. He can get it done. A 21st, a 16th, a 15th. Again, very, very close. Couple of bad finishes, 36th, 37th, right? But then again, a 16th place finish. He had a 5th place finish back here years ago. He had an 11th place finish in Jimmy Means racing cars. Not good cars back in the day either, but he's gotten good finishes. He's going to have you in the conversation. He's really good at making it to the end of these races. That's what you're looking for. So, if you're still listening to us, we're starting off with the Garrett Smithley top 10 at 12-1, the Joey Gase top 10 at 12-1, and that's what makes these fucking races so much fun to bet on. How could you not have fun betting on Garrett Smithley and Joey Gase this weekend?
I think cheering for them is probably the better part of it all, because you're not going to catch yourself going, yay, Smithley, on pretty much any other track other than this. So I think us giving you guys an opportunity to pay attention farther down the race, and then maybe even higher up on the leaderboard is what's fun out of this one. So, all right. So I'm going to say this next one, and it feels like you could say this almost on any given racetrack, but on this one in particular, I'm absolutely loving this head-to-head. And again, when we caution you about these head-to-heads, it's not always a given, because one wreck can take out your favorite driver in a heartbeat. So you take these head-to-heads with a grain of salt. However, there are drivers that you do tend to fade on certain super speedways, a la Kyle Larson, which we've done this time and time again. And the same can almost be said for Justin Allgaier, especially at Talladega. Allow me to read his stats for you at the Talladega Superspeedway. Justin Allgaier has 18 starts. Sure, he's got 7 top 10s, but his average finish on this track, 18.1. We'll go back to the spring of 2022, and I'm going to read off the following finishes. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go up to 2019 and read off the following finishes from the 2019 season in the spring. 28, 28, 29, 29, third, yay, in 2021, but then 22, 15, 28, 38, 25. Woo! Am I reading off Kyle Larson's stats, or am I reading off Justin Allgaier's stats? Because it just feels yucky. He has not had a great 6 years on this track at all. So one top 10 finish, one top 3 finish in that entire span. That is not fun for one Justin Allgaier. Now, I will say that for Eric Almirola, he did have a 19th place finish last year in 2024 in the fall, but that was still better than the 25th place finish of one Justin Allgaier. He's won this race in 2017 and the 98, 3 top 10 finishes in the 98 and the 88 for Junior Motorsports, and a 20th place finish. His average finish overall on this track, 11.7. So, and you know how lights out he can be in that Joe Gibbs racing car that he's going to be in. He's going to be in the 19 this week. So, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. This world is topsy-turvy, but I've been going a little more heavy on the JGR cars this season than I have the Junior Motorsports
I finally
cars.
converted him, friends.
It's when I look at it and I look at guys like Justin
Which is funny because it's the weakest lineup that JGR's ever had in Xfinity.
And here I am like banging the drum for him, and that's fine. Look at that. It's just when you look at Justin Allgaier, he's just not had. Yeah, he's had some super speedway success, but not at Talladega. And this is where you have to dig in because you can't get pigeonholed into saying, well, this guy's a super speedway guy. Yeah, okay. Is he though? Or is he just a super speedway guy at Daytona, at Atlanta, right? Those types of you got to figure out where he's good and where he's not. And he's definitely not good at Talladega over the last 6 years. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take this matchup because I feel rather confident that Eric Almirola will end up finishing this race somewhere in the top 15, whereas Justin Allgaier, probably 20th to 20th or 25th rather. So yeah, give me Eric Almirola over Justin Allgaier, minus 115 over on Caesars.
Yeah, no argument here. I've actually got more to say about Almirola in a little bit. So I like it. Ash checking in too. I guess this was a bit ago and I already answered your question. Never mind. Caesars has the top 10s for you. Dos Flacco saying, are there manufacturer bets yet? Throw it all on Chevy. There's not manufacturer to win bets. You're probably not going to see that. And if you do, Chevy's going to be probably minus 500 because there's about 65 Chevrolets entered into this 38 car race. So good luck with that.
Yeah, definitely not something I would rather do. But all right. Well then, Cody, let's move on. What do we got?
Yeah, next up for me, speaking of the manufacturer market, we're going to go over there. One of my favorite places to go, top finishing Toyota. There are only, to my point a second ago, 7 Toyotas in this race. That is not very many. And that's why you like to take a couple of the longer shots. So I'm going to go with Dean Thompson, our guy over there, to be the top finishing Toyota at 9-1, and Jeffrey Earnhardt to be the top finishing Toyota at 10-1. Betting on both the Sam Hunt racing cars essentially here. But it's because of the numbers, right? There's only seven Toyotas in this field. You've got 2 of them now, so you only need to beat the other 5. Now, Catherine Legg is the farthest back, the highest Toyota. She's 20-1. I considered it, right? I know that if you're sending her death threats because she's wrecked a couple of times, you're a horrible person. I just want to throw that out there. She's had some struggles, right? But she's a world-class race car driver. 20-1, really, you could make a strong case to bet on her just because there's so few in here. But I'm not super worried about her. Earnhardt and Thompson are the next 2 farthest down, so those are the ones I'm going to take. William Sawalich plus 450. Is there a worse drive? Sawalich is worse than Catherine Legg. I hate to break it to all you people out there. Sawalich fucking sucks. Maybe he'll fix that eventually, but he's been horrible. I've never seen one good thing I like out of Sawalich other than in a souped-up ARCA car that is better than everybody else. He's like 40th in points in a Gibbs car. So maybe talk some more shit about him, people. But then you just have Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, and Eric Almirola. You love Eric Almirola. I love Eric Almirola. But things happen. Wrecks happen. Mistakes happen. You don't have to beat very many other people to cash these bets. 9-1 for Thompson, 10-1 for Earnhardt. I like both of these. Thompson actually did make a start here last year in the Xfinity Series. 20th place finish. Could a wreck happen that takes out 3 or 4 Toyotas and you finish 20th and be the best finishing Toyota? It's not really that crazy, but he could also finish a lot better like he did in the Tricon truck a couple of years ago when he finished 3rd place here at Talladega. Certainly could happen there as well. So, and then for Earnhardt, I don't know if you know anything about Earnhardt's at Talladega, but they're pretty fucking good, right? Dale, his grandpa, a ton of wins here. Dale Jr., his uncle, a ton of wins here. And been rough for him the last couple of races, right? 37th, 31st, 37th. It's not gone well. Second place a couple of years ago here, though. He's got some other good runs, 14th, 12th, 16th, 16th. Some good runs for Jeffrey at this track. So this is mostly just a play on you've only got 7 in the field, take 2. Now we only have to beat 5. And really, 4 elite JGR cars, but I'm only counting 3 because Swalch sucks. So it's not too bad. So, give me Dean Thompson at 9-1 and Jeffrey Earnhardt at 10-1 to be the top finishing Toyotas.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, we've seen crazier things happen. And for Dean Thompson, it's one of those things where we know that he could be competitive, and everybody loves an Earnhardt, and betting on an Earnhardt always makes you feel good and warm and fuzzy. Although John is convinced that his Chevy's going to win at Talladega, so we'll have to see about that.
As I just said, there's a lot of Chevys in this race. So
don't
worry, we're about to talk about Fords in a second. There's even less of those. So
yeah, there really are too. All right. Well, speaking of somebody that we don't hear very often about, how about Patrick Emmerling into that 07 car? His top 10 number is at 12-1 over on Caesars. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Why? Well, guess what? Earlier this year, Patrick Emmerling finished in 10th place in Daytona, which is a super speedway race. I mean, look, about as close as you can get to a good comparison is just he's done it already in a super speedway race this season, right? I mean, it makes you feel kind of warm and fuzzy that he's finished that way. He's only raced in 4 races so far this season. So that 10th place in Daytona, he had a 28th place at Las Vegas, 33rd at Homestead, a 19th last week, though, at Rockingham. And look, if you can finish in 19th, then you can finish somewhere close to top 10 at the end of the day on a super speedway. Talladega for him has not been all that great. He did finish 32nd. He wrecked out of the 24 race, but he started 12th, right? Which gives me a little bit of hope because there's some speed into that 07 car that he actually was able to qualify in 12th place, which means if you qualify in 12th place and keep it there, then you're fine. His career at Daytona in this 07, 17th in 2024, 18th in the fall of 2024, and then that 10th place finish overall after starting 35th, by the way, at Daytona earlier in the season, and ended up finishing in 10th. So again, if we're talking about the opportunity for these guys to be able to finish well, I mean, last year he started 13th at Daytona and finished in 17th. But I mean, look, when you're dealing with long shots, especially at 12-1 for a top 10, you need a little bit of chaos. You need him to be able to withstand a lot of stuff. And I think Patrick Emmerling is as good as any, given that he's already finished in the top 10 in a super speedway race once already. I'm going to take a chance that he may end up doing it again, despite the fact that he hasn't been very, very, I guess, like I said, Talladega has not been kind to him so far this season. But at 12-1 for a top 10, hell, let's take a ride with Patrick Emmerling this week and hope it sticks.
Don't have to tell me twice to talk me into a long shot top 10, Rob.
I absolutely love it. All right, we're going to continue down on our betting card, but first, let me tell you about our friends over at Underdog. It's time for my Underdog bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em, you can play any sport, and I mean any sport, and win up to 100x. You know I love me some Aussie rules football, and guess what? Underdog has some Aussie rules football going on. I am going to take Clayton Oliver of Melbourne. I'm going to take his goal total at lower than 1 or half a goal. Essentially, he's not going to score a goal. And why do I say that? He hasn't scored a goal. He's only scored 1 goal all season long through 6 rounds. So he's not necessarily a goal scorer. So I'm definitely going to say that Clayton Oliver will not score a goal in this match this week. So give me Clayton Oliver lower than a half a goal for Melbourne for the Aussie Rules Football. You can find that tab over on Underdog Fantasy. And while you're at it, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they've got models for NBA, golf. Picks so good, feels like cheating. Building your own model is simple and easy. there is a game tonight, right? The Golden State Warriors are going to play. Build yourself a model to figure out how many times Steph Curry's name is going to be on the broadcast. Okay, you can't, but I'm sure you could build yourself a model about how many buckets he's going to hit, how many times he's going to score, right? That's NBA talk, whatever. Okay. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off of an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Never sit around a water cooler and talk basketball with me. In fact, it's funny. The guy I worked with today goes, hey, so you watch basketball? And I was like, no, that's the one sport I do not watch. And he's like, the Warriors are playing tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. That's about as far as it goes with me.
Yes. Pick any sport, Call of Duty, even, which is not really a sport, but whatever, anything. And Rod will talk to you about it, just not basketball.
That's just the way it works for me. So, all right, Cody, where are we going?
Well,
next?
I like to talk about pasta, Rod. It's delicious. It's also fast. We're going to head over to the Chevrolet market. So this is something I talked about a little bit yesterday, but, with them cooking the top 10 numbers in a lot of areas, now we've still found what we think is some value. Top 5 numbers are kind of, it's been harder to pick those types of things. And so I think going after this top manufacturer market, I think is better, because if you look at, and I'm going to take Fast Pasta, that's where I was going with that, by the way, Anthony Alfredo to be the top finishing Chevy at 20-1. I'm also going to take Matty D to be the top finishing Chevrolet, Matt DiBenedetto at 40-1. Now you could bet on Matt DiBenedetto to finish in the top 5 at 5-1. But if he finishes in the top 5, now I get it, there could easily be 4 other Chevys there. We just talked about how there's a lot of Chevys, right? But if things fall correctly, 40-1 to be the top finishing Chevrolet, I don't think that it's overly crazy for either of these guys. And you look at what they've done, and they've been successful. Anthony Alfredo in this race last year in April, 3rd place finish. He was right there. Now, you look at the results for that race. Jesse Love obviously wins in a Chevrolet, but then Herbst was there in a Ford. Wouldn't have been the top Chevy, but putting himself in position to be one, and at such a big number, I like it. This isn't so much the case of there's only 7 Toyotas. There's a lot of Chevrolets, like almost 30 of them. So you have to beat a lot of cars, but I think that these guys are capable of doing it, and I think that the numbers are good. So Alfredo 3rd last year, had a 16th here a couple of years ago, 2 6th-place finishes back in 22 and 20. He was really good at Michigan last year in that plate race. He's done well at other plate races as well. And then for Matt DiBenedetto at 40-1, the former Cup Series guy, he's only got a couple of starts here in Xfinity, but 16th place here in the fall, 8th place here last spring. Those were in Fords. They've jumped over to the Chevrolet camp now, but he's been a solid super speedway guy. Won in the trucks a couple of years ago on a super speedway, earlier at Daytona this year, an 11th place finish. Again, to the veteran part of things, Matt DiBenedetto has been around the block a couple of times. He's a very veteran driver. He's not going to win at Rockingham. He's not going to win at Bristol. He's not going to win at any of these other tracks. He knows that. These are the types of tracks where he can be smart, put himself in position, and we've seen him do that a lot, and we've seen it pay off. You don't even have to win here. Eric Almirola wins, one of these couple of Toyotas or Fords wins, okay, but if you can be up there, if these guys have both finished 3rd before, if Matt DiBenedetto's won in the Truck Series before, they can get it done at 20-1, at 40-1. I think the numbers make sense to take their top finishing Chevrolets. If you want to go deeper into that and look at them for the top 5 number, it's, again, that's where you have to get to weighing it. Could he finish 5th? You don't cash this, you don't get anything. Or is it worth it at, a fraction of the price at only 5-1 instead of 40-1? That's for you. Spoiler alert, going to talk about at least one of these guys when we get to the outright market as well, because the number is just good enough. But I like both these guys to be the top finishing Chevrolets. And that being said, Jesse Love and Austin Hill should be the class of this field. They are going to probably qualify 1 and 2. I would actually bet on them to be the front row starters if I could, because they're that good at it. They're going to lead a ton of laps. They're going to look really good. But how many times have we seen all of a sudden, oh shit, there Austin Hill got caught up in that one. Oh shit, Jesse Love got caught up in the things can happen, things can go wrong. And you talked about some of the other heavy hitters. Justin Allgaier has had issues here. It can certainly, things can go wrong despite there being so many Chevrolets in the field. If these guys can have an elite finish, which they've done before, I think they could cash these bets.
Yeah, and like you said, with some of these guys that just are supposed to have good days, and Allgaier being one of them, Zilich you expect, right? But he's been kind of a hit or miss. He's still a young driver. And then, Quapple, another guy that's like, he's going to probably do good, but he could very well wreck out as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of variables when it comes to speed race.
I mean, that's actually a good point, is a lot of the top Chevy team drivers, it is young guys like Zilich and Quapple who don't have all the experience. Allgaier obviously has the experience, but he's not been super good at it. Sammy Smith is always a wild card. Like, once you get past them, yes, there's a lot of Chevrolets in the field. Not a ton of great ones either, though. It's a lot of the back marker guys, and you can certainly make the case for them to finish in the top 10 as we have. But, Hill and Love are your big shots, but it doesn't take much, and they're likely going to be riding together. So one wreck, and they both get caught up in it, and that cleans out the toughest hurdle for this bet.
Indeed, it does. But it doesn't necessarily have to clean out anything for Leland Honeyman to get inside of the top 10. 6-1 for young Leland Honeyman in that 70 car. I'll tell you right now, this is one where I was looking at the top 10 finishes. I was looking at the Super Speedway top 10 finishes this season. And I was like, hey man, Leland Honeyman actually did it for us in Atlanta, where he finished in 8th place. This is the epitome of a long shot guy finishing in the top 10. He started 29th in Atlanta, ended up finishing in 8th place in that particular race. That speaks volumes about super speedway racing right there. He even led a lap in the entire race. Now at Daytona, a 21st place finish earlier this year. But when you look at his stats here, especially at Talladega, he's got a 4th place finish in the spring of 2024 in the 42 car, and then a 14th place finish in the fall. So if you can finish 14th, you can finish 10th. We've said it time and time again for him to do that. At Daytona, he does have a 9th place finish. He's crashed out of 2 races, especially earlier this year. He crashed out of the first one, like I said, finished 9th in 2024 in the fall in the 42 car, and then 30th before that. So Atlanta, 21st, 17th, and 8th are his finishes here. Like I said, that 8th place earlier in the spring. So look, man, this is a guy that's already done it once this season. It's a lot like what Patrick Emmerling's argument was. He's already done it once this season. He's finished inside of the top 10 on a super speedway or a super speedway style race, right? And he's done it before on this track as well. It's a long shot for a reason, and it's 6-1. You feel like, oh, it's not really that long of a shot. But if you look at all the other top 10 odds, this is another long shot top 10 odds. So for Leland Honeyman, yeah, I mean, this is somewhere I feel very comfortable saying that he could stick around, especially with all the Chevys that he'll have to draft with, right? All he's got to do essentially is link up and find a way to link up with guys like Love, guys like Hill, maybe not guys like Allgaier, but the 2 dominant super speedway Chevys. Find a way to link up with them, right? And you know that these manufacturers work together in packs when they get going. So all he's got to do is find the right lane, find the right dance partners, link up with them, and stay close to them the entire race, and pick the right time to make his move to kind of get himself into the top 10. You got to remember too, especially with these long shot guys, right? These Honeymans, these Emmerlings, these Thompsons, they're a good day for them. Yeah, a good day is winning for anybody, right? But a really solid day for them is to finish inside of the top 10, right? To finish inside of the top 15, to get points and to stay. These guys, their bar for success is a little bit lower than most teams, right? A really good day, they'll feel very, very good leaving Talladega with a top 10 finish. And so if that's what they're striving for, they're not going to try to put themselves in harm's way to get the win, unless they see like it's gonna, if they see the checkered flag and they want to get there, that's fine. But if they know that they're not going to get there and they can get in the top 10 by the end of the day, that's a good day for them. And that's a really solid day for their team. So yeah, give me Leland Honeyman, top 10 car at 6-1.
Yeah, no arguments from me here again. Stop me if you've heard me talk about top manufacturer before, but yeah, yeah, exactly. I really like this angle at super speedways currently. Again, searching around, trying to find where you can get the value at. The Ford market, where we've hit Chevy, we've hit Toyota. Now it's time for Fords. Only 7 Fords in this race, just like Toyota. So you bet 2. Well, it's going to end up being 3 in the long run, but we're going to bet 2 for right now. And you only have to beat 5 other guys. It's just the math really checks out good for you. And this isn't the case. The top Chevy, you're going to have to finish top 5 probably to be the top finishing Chevy. The top 4, the top Toyota, you might have to finish top 5. Herbst did it last year, finishing second, but you might also have to finish 13th or 18th or 24th, like it, just depending on how things fall. So that's what you're looking at. I'm going to start off Harrison Burton 5-1. Rod, Harrison Burton won a Cup Series race on a super speedway just last year. I rest my case. I mean, do I need to go any farther than that? I don't think you do. He's obviously capable of winning at a super speedway in the Cup Series, where it is the hardest to do it at. And all you need to do is survive to the end and be a top finishing Ford here. I don't think that's crazy. And then I'm going to go to Kyle Sieg, 12-1, brother of guy that I love to bet on, and Ryan Sieg. 12-1 for Kyle. This was 20-1. It's come down a little bit, but that's okay. Going to take it at 12-1 still anyways. Kyle Sieg has been solid at Talladega in the starts that he's made here. He's got 4 career starts here. And actually, I'm going to go, so 2022, April of 2022 was his first career start here. So I'm going to start there and go in succession of how he's run races. 18th in his first race, improved by 3 spots. 15th in his second race. Third race, improved by 2 spots, 13th place. Fourth race, improved by 3 spots, 10th. He's due for an 8th or 7th place finish this week, depending on how this pattern plays out. But in 4 races here, he's made it to the end of all of them, been inside of the top 18, keeps creeping up. Top 10 last time they were here. Top 10 could easily be the top finishing Ford. Even at 12-1, why couldn't he do it? Again, if guys get wiped out, if things go wrong, and the strength, there is some strength at the top, right? Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer are very good race car drivers. Ryan Sieg, you put him in that same category, but things can go wrong. Mistakes happen. These guys get caught up in wrecks. A lot of times it's not even their own fault. It's just things are going to happen. Be the last surviving one. There's value on Burton at 5-1 and value on Sieg at 12-1.
There's value all over the sport. That's a good part about super speedway racing, is that you just know that you're going to hit one of these, if not many of these, by the end of the day. And that's why we're not giving you a lot of these favorites, because it's just, okay, and you expect them to be up there, but it could take one little thing for you to be able to lose it all.
So many things can go wrong, and there's not, for the prices they're giving you. Again, the books are getting smarter and smarter, and they're figuring out what we're doing. We used to just be able to go into a super speedway race in the Cup Series, hammer a bunch of top 10s. A guy parlayed top 10s and won $1 million off of a small bet a few years ago by doing that. Obviously, we continue to hit them, and they've looked around and they've been like, oh shit, we can't do this anymore, and they adjust. And so we have to keep adjusting and finding different ways. And I would just like to say, fuck the books, Rod.
A very popular opinion in the Discord at this point as well. All right, this will be probably the lowest odds other than the winning car number, which I'm going to spoil, and I'm telling you that I'm going to come up with next. But this will be the shortest odds that I'm giving you, and this is about a young man that is destined for a first win. We just don't know when it's going to be. However, a top 5 number for Sheldon Creed is at 2-1, and I know we just got done telling you and hammering the fact that anything can happen on super speedways. But there's one thing that Sheldon Creed is good at, especially at Talladega, is finishing in and around the top 5. The last 3 times he's been on this track have been either a top 5 finish or one spot outside of the top 5. And that is a second place. And granted, let's just put it this way. He's only had 5 races on this track as an Xfinity Series driver. Believe it or not, right? A lot of people think that it's maybe more, but it's not. He's only had 5 races on this track. 3 of them have been inside of the top 5 or around the top 5. Second place in 2003 in the spring, 6th place in the spring of 2004, and then 4th place in the fall of 2024 as well. Now, granted, these were in the 2 car and the 18 car. He is now in the 00 car, but I'm not that scared, because earlier this season in the 00, he finished 3rd at Daytona. So that tells me that he is still able to find his way around there. Now it's a 14th place finish in the Atlanta race, but look, Sheldon Creed has had some very, very rough runs of it lately, right? 37th at Bristol, 35th at Rockingham. This team needs to figure something out, because the 00 is not used to having this much lack of success on the track, right? They're used to having Cole Custer, who would win 6 million races or not, depending on, I guess, what season it would be. But still, right, Cole Custer had a lot of success in the Xfinity Series. And for Sheldon Creed, he's had a lot of success in the Xfinity Series, a lot of second place finishes for this guy. So for 2-1 for a top 5, like I said, he's pretty much one of those guys that he'll stay clean. He'll be able to pick his dance partners and do well enough to stay around the front like he did in Daytona earlier this season. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. Take 2-1 for his top 5 finish. And then look, I saw Zilich and Creed as a duo top 5 over on Caesars at 8-1. This is only to sort of boost the value of what you already know is going to happen with something that you don't know is going to happen, right? For Connor Zilich, this is the wild card of it all. Not a fantastic super speedway run this season, 27th at Daytona, 34th at Atlanta. He's crashed out of both of these. So do I think that he's going to finish inside the top 5? That's a long shot for a reason. But we know Connor Zilich is fast. We know that this guy leads laps. He's led 159 laps this season, so we know he's a fast car. Only problem is he's got to stay clean, and he doesn't have very good dance partners in the JRM camp. So I'm hoping maybe he finds somebody like a Leland Honeyman to hook up with, or somebody that can actually get him to the top 10. And then from there, he can figure it out. So yeah, 8-1 for Zilich and Creed to be in the top 5. So I figured that was a fun little sprinkle to throw in there as well.
I like it, Rod. I do. And it's, you're building a parlay again on a track where crazy things happen. Anything can happen. It is great. All right, Rod, are you ready for my next play? Sorry, I was more ready than you were.
It's all good.
All right, the car lift this week, no surprise if you've listened for any amount of time, it's Ryan Sieg. I love Ryan Sieg. I love betting Ryan Sieg really anywhere, but especially on super speedway. He's been on him for years, and we've seen him continue to improve. So we're going to take the top 3 at 3-1, or top 5 rather at 3-1, the top finishing Ford at plus 310, and to win the race at 22-1. So now with the Ford deal, we're actually covered 3 out of 7 guys. So pretty good coverage. Again, spread that out appropriately. Laura says we woke her up with the car lift. It is loud. And
we put her to sleep, by the way, Laura. Sorry we put you to sleep.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's so well, whatever. I guess at least we're doing something around here, Rod. But Ryan Sieg, really good at super speedways. We talk about him all the time. Extra good at Talladega. 2nd place here in the fall last year. So close to getting it done. 17th, 22nd, but 4th, and 11 sprinkled in there, 5th, 2nd. So in his last 8 races here at Talladega, he has got 5 top 5 finishes. He has just been solid time and time again. There's other bad ones sprinkled in there, and another 6th place finish if you go farther back. But Ryan Sieg is extremely, extremely good at super speedways, extremely good at Talladega. Not as beautiful of a car lift as we've had before on him. The top 10's like minus 130. I considered it, but if you've looked at my entire card so far, plus 300 is actually the lowest number bet that I've given you for his top 10. So, or for his top 5 rather. And I think that's as low as I want to go on any number in this race. So top 5 at 3-1, the top 4 at plus 310, and then him to win the race at 22-1. Ryan Sieg is just a guy who gets it done time and time again on Talladega. And maybe this is finally the week, Rod. Everybody's waiting on Sheldon Creed to win. I'm just over here waiting on Ryan Sieg to finally get one.
Because for Ryan Sieg, the winnings are much, much more lucrative than a Sheldon Creed win. So I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I'm waiting for the day. And with Ryan Sieg getting a win before Sheldon Creed, right? That would be the
like it.
Yeah, I'd take that match or that cut bet on that one. Who gets a win first? All right. Well, then I'm going to take the winning car number, and I'm just going to take a plus money side of this one. Under 18.5, plus 145 over on Caesars for the winning car number. Again, this is just a matter of you take the best number that you can get on a certain specific bet, because anything can and will happen. But also, this is not a bad little group to have under 18.5. Sheldon Creed is in that. Quapple's in that. Jesse Love is in that, who we think is going to be one of the front runners in there. Look, we just told you that Justin Allgaier's had just a miserable run of luck for the last 6 years on this one. That doesn't mean he can't win. I mean, he's obviously one of the best drivers in the Xfinity Series.
He's had some pretty good luck this year.
He's had some pretty good luck this year. So, yeah, I mean, Justin Allgaier is still in play to win. So if that happens and you don't have his outright number, then that's fine. You're covered on this one. Plus, it's got Sammy Smith in there as well. Young Christian Eckes, who we know is a terror in just about whatever happens, and he can find himself up there. And then, of course, William Sawalich, the favorite guy in the 18 car that we can say. But look, to me, this is also another hedge on Jesse Love too, because if you don't bet his outright and he does end up winning, if you decide to go with Hill, right? If you flip a coin and you land on Hill and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to bet Hill, I'm not going to bet on Love. Well, then you're covered if Love does accidentally win this race as well. Because as you look at the favorites for this particular race, I mean, you're going to see that you have Austin Hill at 3-1, right? Jesse Love at 7-1, Allgaier at 12-1. But again, with Allgaier's luck, I'm not going to really bet on his outright because I don't want to be heartbroken if it happens. I'd rather be happy that he cashes my plus 145 on an under 18.5 than him losing my outright at 12-1, right? If he doesn't win. So, I mean, that's just how I would approach this as well. You could probably just go ahead and bet Austin Hill if you want at 3-1, and then take the plus 145 if Jesse Love covers. Then, yeah, I mean, again, it's just a matter of there's a lot of good people under 18.5 to take a chance on, and you get them all. So, yeah, under 18.5 plus 145 on Caesars for winning car number.
Yeah, and this is one of them that you want to have somebody in the mix at the end. You take this one because you're getting plus money on the one side, and somebody is going to be up there in the mix to win this at the end. And God, as good as Jesse Love has been lately, I know how good Austin Hill is, but Jesse Love is right there on his heels. So you're getting him along with all those other drivers you just mentioned. I do not mind it. So going to my outrights, similar to the Cup Series yesterday, we're going to take that shotgun spray and just, take a unit or two, split it up between all these guys, a little bit on each. And we're just going to hope and pray that we hit something is really what we're going for. Ryan Sieg, 22-1, talked about in the car lift. But I'm going to add Eric Almirola at 12-1. He's the favorite, quote unquote, that I'm taking. He's been good at Talladega in the Xfinity Series, 19th place here in the fall when he ran with Joe Gibbs Racing. But the last time he was out here with Biaggi Den Best Racing, I don't know what that is. I don't remember that team, but he won here last time out in the Xfinity Series back in 2017. Couple of 10th, actually 3 10th place finishes in a row prior to that. And he was solid guy here in the Xfinity Series, or in the Cup Series rather as well, where he obviously was for a long time. Guys, did you think we were going to get through this entire show without me bringing up Brandon Jones? And they're giving us Brandon Jones at they're giving him to us at 25-1. Hell yes, give me some Brandon Jones. I had his statistics pulled up, and I think I accidentally closed that box out, Rod. So I am trying to. Oh gosh, where'd Brandon?
Laura up again if we want. Laura, wake up!
There you go, Laura. Hit the button and make a lot of noise. Where did the Brandon Jones? Wow. Oh, there it is. There's the Brandon Jones tab that I closed. Okay, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. He's been good here in the past, Rod. 25-1. He's obviously figured some stuff out this season. 28th, 33rd, 14th the last couple of races, but those were JRM. We're throwing those days out when he was with Joe Gibbs Racing. 9th place, 26th match. 26th sprinkled in there is what I was trying to say, but 2nd place here in 2021, 4th place here in 2020, 2nd place here in 2018. Hasn't won yet, but he's been really close. 25-1, too good of a number for Brandon Jones. Harrison Burton's at 33-1. Cup Series winner on a super speedway just last year. Talked about him earlier. Matt DiBenedetto, 50-1, same thing. Ben Strong here. I think that he could get the win. Jeffrey Earnhardt, if he's in the field, I'm going to be betting on him 100-1. We had him 100-1 a couple years ago when he finished 2nd place. Granted, it was an RCR car. I get it, but hey, he's a good driver. If that car holds on, he can be there at the end. And then Rod, please suspend some belief with me on this one. I took a dart, I threw it, and it hit the board on Ryan Ellis. 200-1. Ryan Ellis is probably not going to win this race. I hate to break it to you. That's why he's 200-1. This is an utter chaos. We're 6 overtimes into it. Everybody wrecks in the last lap, and Ryan Ellis survives to the end. 15th place here last year. Had an 11th place finish here 2 years ago. He's an okay veteran driver. We've talked about him in DFS circles before for Xfinity. It is 200-1 for a reason, but fuck it, why not? Maybe some crazy shit happens. That's what Talladega is all about. Give it to me.
Yeah, and for Ryan Ellis, he did really well for us in the DFS part of it last week.
Yeah, you talked about him last week on that show, and yeah, he did well again. So
pretty happy about that. All right, my outright. I am a sniper rifle. I am taking one, and I'm going to throw it at, if I were to tell you, of all the active drivers that are out there on the track this weekend, the one with the most wins at the Talladega Superspeedway, you would probably not say Jeb Burton. But guess what? It is Jeb Burton. He leads all active drivers with 2 wins on this particular track. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out there with 1. AJ Allmendinger has 1. Almirola has 1. Reddick, Brandon Brown, even Noah Gragson. But that's about it when it comes to the active drivers that are going to be taking part in this race. He's got 2 wins. He's also got 6 top 10 finishes and 3 top 5 finishes on Talladega in general. So Jeb Burton, 12-1 for a guy who, first in 2023 in the same 27 equipment. This isn't any different equipment, right? And he won in 2021 in the spring, 9th and 7th the last 2 times out in 2024 on this track. We talk about it all the time. If you can finish in 9th, you can finish in 1st, depending on where you're at on those several restarts. But 12-1 for a guy who's pretty much been the one to win this race over the last couple of seasons. I 1000% am with it on this one. And it's not, Daytona, he hasn't done very well at Daytona. He hasn't done very well at Atlanta, although I will say that he did finish 6th earlier this season in Atlanta. So he had an 8th place finish last week at Rockingham. This 27 car is not bad overall, right? It's actually really a really competitive car when it wants to be, when it can be. But I think when you just look at his finishes at Talladega in general, man, that's encouraging, especially at 12-1 for a guy that can get it done, especially when we're looking at some of these other guys that are like you said, like Almirola is at 12. I'm sorry, is that 12-1 or 120-1? That's actually 120-1. Hold on.
Wait,
Jeb Burton is at is actually 120-1.
I thought that 12-1 seemed low. I was wondering.
I'm sorry.
That,
I can't even read my own typing.
Rod forgot to carry a 0 there.
I did 120-1, let alone. So that's why I was like, why does it sound so bad at 12-1? No, 120-1 for Jeb Burton to win this race. A guy that's won it a couple of seasons ago, finished inside the top 10 the last 3 times he's been on this track. Yes, sir. Give it to me. Give it to me. And then when we're like 4 laps away from the finish and Jeb Burton's out there at 120-1, you're like, oh my God. I'll just be smiling.
And if you like that bet at 12-1, Rod, what if I could put you in this nice 120-1 over here? It would look great. And you could just drive it home today.
I'll take it. Wrap it up and give it to me at 120-1.
Boy, we're betting on Earnhardt's and Burton's to win at Talladega. Is this 2025 or is this 1996? Who knows?
You tell me, man. Maybe we time warped in Talladega. What is it? It's been a long time. They've been on this track for a very long time, so we very well could be.
69. They've been racing here since 69.
Nice. All right. Well, then it is time to go over these bets for the Ag Pro 300. So get out your pen and paper as we break them down. Sorry, no graphic, guys. This was just a very hectic week.
You're lucky I got home in time to make it on the show. So
that is for damn sure. Right?
Sorry.
All right, get out your pen and paper. We are going over the bets. Cody started you off with Garrett Smithley as a top 10 car at 12-1. That's a real 12-1, not 121. And then Joey Gase as a top 10 at 12-1. I said that Eric Almirola would finish better than Justin Allgaier at -115. Cody then said Dean Thompson would be the top Toyota at 9-1. Or if it's not, it's Jeffrey Earnhardt as the top Toyota at 10-1. I said Patrick Emmerling would be a top 10 car at 12-1. And then Cody gave you Fast Pasta as a top Chevy at plus 2,000. And then Matt DiBenedetto as the top Chevy at plus 4,000. I said Leland Honeyman would be a top 10 car at 6-1. Cody gave you the top Ford as Harrison Burton at 5-1. Kyle Sieg at 12-1. I said that Sheldon Creed would be a top 5 car at 2-1. And then I also said that Zilich and Creed could find themselves both in the top 5 at 8-1. Cody's Ryan Sieg car lift top 5, 3-1, top Ford plus 310 to win at 22-1. I said the winning car would come from under 18.5 at plus 145. Cody said Eric Almirola 12-1, Jones 25-1, Harrison Burton 33-1, Matty D at 50-1, Earnhardt at 100-1, and Ellis at 200-1 could be the winners of this race. I said Jeb Burton at 120-1 would win this race. This Ag Pro 300 from the Talladega Superspeedway. Cody, can you feel it?
Just listening to you read off all those big numbers. Oh, so I fucking love betting on super speedways. It's go have fun this week, guys. You don't have to get your nerd glasses all in a wad. I don't think you can bet on super speed. Just go have some fun, watch some racing, play some bets, be a DGen. Oh, let's go. I'm excited.
That's the whole part. This company thrives on DGens. If you're a DGen, you're betting on super speedway racing and you're being responsible, but you're having fun doing it.
That's right. That's the sweat you're going to have when Jeb Burton's leading this race or when Ryan Ellis cycles out to the front at one point and you're like, oh my God, could it rain or something crazy happen? Like, it makes it all worth it.
It really does. All right. Well, then we will send you out on your way to start filling out your cards for this race. And in the meantime, as we come back tomorrow with some DFS talk, Cody, let everybody know where they can find you in this wide world of sports.
Yeah, come back tomorrow. DFS Underdog Talk, Talladega. There's not a more fun place to play fantasy NASCAR either. So, it's going to be a ton of fun tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe over on the YouTube. Getting close to the 1,000 mark. We appreciate it. Click that subscribe button and you click the bell. Get notified when we're live for these episodes. You can jump in like all these wonderful people have in the chat. And, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Follow me in the meantime on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all my stuff. There's a plethora of it. Final mock draft is out. A bunch of Arena Football 1 stuff is over there. NASCAR stuff. Anything else they'll let me write about. I had some hockey last week, Rod. I'll write about basketball. I love basketball. It's all over there. Check it out.
Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in about everything I've got going on, whether it's here or whether it's in between media. Make sure you check out the Back Road tomorrow night or tonight, I guess, or whenever, because it's on demand on the In Between Media channel. And then I've got some fun little links that you can follow up on too. Some darts, some esports, some Aussie Rules football stuff. It's all up there. You can find it on my Twitter at RJ Villagomez. All right, we love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with our DFS talks. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.